WBS 87 Atlanta, WAEN FM Atlanta, WBHH, and on iHeartRadio, the home of the Beat Break Morning Show with Sean Garvey, DJ Rollum, and the Wake Up Ladies. This is Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives. Streaming online at beatbreakradiofm.com.
A Reach One communications station.
Listen to the Gospel Train with Clifford English, streaming live on Sunday mornings on beatbreakradiofm.com. Hear it on demand on the Spreaker app under Beat Break 87 FM.
What's up, ATL? Make sure that you check out the D Hill Radio Show on Beat Break 87 and beatbreakradiofm.com.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things Precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. I tried to put it off, but I can't. It's so mean. Tried to blame the other man, but I can't. It's so mean. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Listen to Beat Break 87 FM on the go. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app from the app marketplace, including Amazon, Google Play, and the App Store. View photos, videos, and Beat Break 87 shows on your mobile device. Download the Beat Break 87 FM app now for free.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a boat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela.
Critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation? It's when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high and have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Beat Break 87 FM wants to help you get the word out on your next community event.
Hey, do you have an upcoming public service announcement that you want listeners to know about? Well, email us the info to psabeatbreak87@gmail.com so we can help spread the word. That's psabeatbreak87@gmail.com. If your event flyer has the words nonprofit, community, support, charity, and just describes everything about helping our community, please share the special event right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
Wake up weekday mornings to the Beat Break Morning Show and nod your head in bed to the 360 Mix Show. Weeknights on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives. The views and opinions expressed on this program does not necessarily reflect those of Beat Break 87 FM, Reach One Communications, volunteers, staff, and management of Reach One Communications.
Who is she? Who is this woman I keep hearing about? Who is she? Who is she?
The radio diva herself.
Oh my God, are you talking about?
That can't be. Oh, yes, it is, girl.
Wait a minute, that is her.
Yeah, that is her.
Oh my God.
D Hill, everybody.
I have to call somebody. This is amazing.
I still can't believe it's her.
Can I get your autograph?
You ain't making me miss her show. Ain't nobody got time for that. D Hill Radio Show with your host, D Hill.
Keep up the good job, man. You guys are doing a great job. I hope you blow up and become syndicated.
Call in at 404-355-8699 or 1-866-923-2860.
This is D Hill.
Clap your hands with your host, D Hill.
This is D Hill.
Clap your hands with your host, D Hill.
Now, here's your host, D Hill.
All right, you listen to the D Hill Show featuring me, DJ Roland, and we have a special guest host. Can you give us your name, please?
What's going on? This is Dr. D with the Stacey Hill and Dr. D radio show, and I'm excited. I'm always listening to D Hill, and so I laugh every time I hear because it's Stacey Hill and Dr. D. So we just tied D Hill. Y'all got our show.
All right,
y'all got our show.
All right.
D, you still in our show. You still in our show.
Still in the show. Yes. As we were talking off the air, man, if y'all were under a rock, you don't read on social media, because I know it's been all over social media, or you don't listen to the news, whatever. Man, what happened this past Sunday in Sacramento, California? Man. Once again, a young black, I'm going to say this again, young black man is gone, and he was defenseless. He had no weapon. Not one weapon. And he was at his own home.
That's right.
Killed by Sacramento police.
And what's sad is, unfortunately, we're now adding his name to the list. You know, we had Michael Brown.
Right.
We had Tamir Rice. We had Eric Gardner. We had Walter Scott. And so now we have to add, and there's been more.
Right.
Even those that we may not even know about or advertised. And so it is said this young man was 22 years old. And as we were talking about on the air, I'm hating that we are having this conversation now.
Again.
In 2018. And it's like, when is enough really enough?
Right.
And I hate saying, like, when does it get to a point where we say, you know what, something has to give?
Man, as you and I are black men and whatnot, and you're just a few years younger than me, and I'm just getting scared for my son.
Right.
Because I have a son. And he likes wearing hoodies.
Right. Yeah.
And that like, he's leaving 8th grade and going to high school, and I don't know how long he's going to have this hoodie range going on, but I hope that it dies out, because now he's going to be in a more populated area in high school. Mm-hmm. And I'm fearing for him, so hopefully I'm going to change his thinking on wearing hoodies all the time.
And you know what's so sad is the fact that here I am right now tonight, in something that can be, here I am dressed like, I could be 13, 14.
Right.
And what's so scary to me, though, here I am, in my 30s, a man who has a doctorate, who's been in education and done all these other things, but because of how I'm dressed, you will never even know.
Right.
And so it's sad that now we have to even change how we dress because we're being profiled in a way that could potentially take our lives.
Exactly.
And you can't even be a grown man and have, and be and just, you can't just do you. Mm-hmm. And that's what's sad. We have to now change to fit in so that we don't get stopped and it's those things. And I'm like, really? And as a man who has a son, it's like, unfortunately, I now have to potentially change your individuality so that you can actually be able to fit in this, so that you don't be singled out,
right?
So that you can come home at night. And that's sad to me.
It really is. It's so sad that just the way you dress is getting you killed.
Yeah.
Just the way you dress.
Yeah.
You ain't do anything. You just keeping to yourself. You with your friends or whatever, and that kills you.
And I can't even keep things in my pocket. Because if I have things in my pocket, if I go into my pocket, you don't think I'm pulling something out. So now I got to keep everything in sight. So I can't have my phone on. It's just, at the end of the day, we're now getting to a place where we should not have to be this fearful of our lives.
Right.
And this is that, everybody was out there marching earlier today, and to fight against, we're standing up against gun violence and things of that nature. But we also have to start asking the questions. Okay, we're standing up against gun violence, but at the same time, what are we doing standing up to what are we doing to also deal with these people who have the guns, i.e. police, who are taking the lives as well? It's like, we can stand up against the individuals who are going to school. I get that. And I'm not negating, I'm not even stopping that. But we also have to say, okay, why are we not standing up for it? Why are we not saying, okay, this is horrible too? Why are we not saying this is, because it's not getting the attention, that it's not getting the attention because I guess because of the fact they can't find anything negative on him. They can't, and I think that's what's also concerning me as well. That's what's concerning me because of the fact that all of a sudden he's not a big factor because he doesn't have a major issue. His brother went on CNN and told him he wasn't a thief. He was a good father. So now his story is not big. But if you go find out, when they go back to, all these other, he was, he was a thug and they go find the worst pictures. And so because they can't find something about this young man, they're not talking a whole lot about him. And I think that's a concern for me.
That's a concern, but guess what? Here's the reason why. Here's the real reason why there's not a big concern. It's not negativity sells. That's what it is. Right. So since he's already killed, that was the negativity right there. But to build on it, they have the people still watching about it. Right. There's no other negativity. Right. So this is no other negativity going on. That's why it's kind of slowly dying out because there's nothing else, like as you said, about this young man. He took care of his children, took care of his home, and he killed at your own home because he was doing whatever at his house that was not illegal. And he has something in his hand. You can't tell what it is because it's dark. I thought, to me, police officers have some type of flashlight or something to see what the suspect might have. And then I'm like, 20 shots on something you can't see. Right. I'm like, okay, one shot, like we said off the air, one shot will slow you down. I don't care if it's in a leg or whatever, because they already said that, tasing, they can still move and all that stuff. So you already shot the man, but why 19 more times to make sure that he ain't moving? That's right. Really. Mr. Producer, I know you want to say something. That's like you got that face, like that facial thing, like I got to say something because I feel something. Say it for me.
It's crazy. Like you say, I'm 45 years old, so I grew up in hip-hop. I dress hip-hop. Hoodies is my mainstay, and I have a 10-year-old son. Sweatpants. He's a ball player. Okay. So most ball players, sweats and hoodies, and just hearing y'all telling the story, I'm thinking myself, how do I change that for him? Because like you say, at the end of the day, I want him to be able to come home safe. And it seemed me like you being in your grandmother's backyard, you should be in a safe place. And to me, I think there has to be a better training process with these cops, because growing up, we had beat cops that knew you, cops that knew the community. That's right. They knew your mama, they knew your daddy, they knew your grandmother, they knew you. So these cops knew these people. And I believe until we get back to a way that we know who we dealing with, this thing is going to stay crazy and keep getting crazier.
Man, and it's so sad. And as you said, it's keep getting crazier. And you would think that as my son is getting older, he and your son too, that things will kind of ease out a little bit, just a little bit, not too much, because you know how craziness is with our society and social media. But it's getting crazier and crazier, and that's why these kids, that's why they were marching down there. They're getting tired of the government. They're not taking a stand for them, and just in my opinion, this is DJ Roland's opinion, you got too many older folks in government still trying to do all that same stuff from the 80s and 90s, and we're in a new generation.
So that's your opinion and mine.
Okay.
So we are together on that.
Right.
And I guess only because of that, and I have nothing against, what they've done in the past. But see, you have to find what's going to be relevant to bring young people in today. Right. What are you going to do to really get them engaged and involved? And unfortunately, you can't keep talking the same rhetoric, even though we haven't seen, even though things are kind of different. We get it. There are, we are, they weren't dealing with what we're dealing now, what they were doing then, because it was, I would definitely say, worse. But the thing that we're dealing with is you have to be able to speak on the level of these young people. You can't talk over them. And then, as they did today, you have to allow them to step up and lead. Quit saying that young people aren't available. Quit saying that young people can't do. Quit saying that they're not listening. Here's my thing. If you stop treating them like non-humans and listen to them, listen to young people, because young people do have a lot to say. And I think you saw it today. You've been seeing it lately. Now, granted, I do like the fact that there was a young man, there was a young white man, a young white boy. He was like, you know what, I'm a little irritated that black students who went to our school aren't getting the opportunity to speak out.
I heard about that. Yes, I read that.
He said, why aren't they not getting the same FaceTime that we're getting? And so, you know, they've been making it like, listen, we're not going to, you know, and so again, hate was introduced. So as long as hate is introduced, you can also reintroduce love too. And so my thing with it is, just as quickly as hate was introduced, love can be introduced. And so what we have to start doing is listening to those young people who actually want to experience and express love, and us stop living in this, well, they're doing this. No, these young people are really showing us, listen, we don't got time for all that. But the question I do have for both of you, actually, because you all, you know, you're having sons, what is the conversation? What is the conversation that we have with them? What is this conversation that we say, you know, I guess from the father's perspective, what is the conversation that we have with these young men who are seeing young men being killed and being murdered, and how you should be, this is, and is it do we discuss the target on the back, or do we discuss the target, or would you discuss, or do we not discuss the target? I guess that's the best way to say it. Do we discuss the target or not to discuss it?
I'll let you go first.
I feel we have to discuss the target. But we also have to discuss ways to hopefully help you prevent being the target. Like I tell my son, you're going to be a young black man. Right. You're built like me. You're going to be thick. You are smart. You are a threat. So you can't put yourself in a situation where you're seen as a threat.
That's right.
Or you're known as a threat, or known as a troublemaker. You have to unfortunately put yourself 2 or 3 steps above the next kid who's not gonna look as threatening as you do.
That's right.
Because I cannot tell you how many times I have been pulled over because you look like the suspect.
Okay, now piggybacking off of what you're saying, I haven't seen your son, and the way you were describing him too, he looks like you. When people see me and see my son, they see twins. Okay. Not only just twins of looks, he has almost my height, and he's 14. Okay, so he's a big guy, and he wants to establish himself. Okay, so with that, what I teach him is what my father has taught me. Okay, so it's to basically I tell him, be aware of your surroundings. I've been teaching him since he was like maybe 6 or 7 years old. That's what I've been doing, and he's understanding that. And I told him to, when I say be aware of your surroundings, that includes not just the environment, but all types of people. Never tell even your closest friend what your future plans are, things of that nature. How to deal with society itself, knowing that because he gets into this, it's kind of like a play thing, but then it's still a serious thing. He's saying you're being racist. What he's really saying is how we shouldn't be racist to each other and racist to other folks. He's saying that at his age, he's ahead of the game already. All right, and he's even teaching me and my father certain things about how he sees things in life. I just want him to get closer with his uncle, my brother, so he can okay, now my nephew is really on point. So that's what I see in the future for him, because he already knows what he wants to do. He knows how to get it, and he's sticking to it. And I said, this is the thing. Like I already said earlier this year, 2018 is focus year. That's what we got to do. And
it was so funny you were saying what you were saying about your son, as far as having to be, you know, because who you are, you have to be kind of above that. And growing up, I grew up, you know, I'm from Ohio, so I grew up in predominantly white neighborhoods. So I was probably one of maybe 3 or 4 black kids for the most part of my school. And so it was kind of and it was always that way. And unfortunately, my mom put it in us. You can't be like the little white boy, or you can't be like the other 3 black kids.
Right.
She said, because ultimately because they're looking at everything that you're doing and they're watching everything that you're doing. You don't get the option of being mediocre. You don't get the option of being normal. You have to be over normal. And so for years, unfortunately, I spent my life having to watch everything I did because I said they're watching everything that I do. Even now as an adult, unfortunately, it comes to me. So it's sad that unfortunately that's the society we have to live in. It's sad. But at the same time, it's one of those situations to where we also have to now have to start setting the tone. If we want to change it, then what kind of tone are we going to set? And so I guess it's just interesting that, you know, being now in my 30s and experiencing that, I'm like, wow, it's sad. Again, still sad that we're having that conversation. I still have to, at times, still fit a certain mold in order to be accepted in certain areas, in certain fields. In my profession, I still have to do the whole, you got to be extra, you got to be over. I got to say this because I'm on the air. For instance, we can have politicians who don't have any college degree, and they just have a high school diploma. I ain't calling nobody out, but they do. But we have to be, you know, lawyers, and we have to have gone to the certain school, and that's what's funny to me.
Like our former president.
Yeah. So it's like we have to be a certain way, and so it's interesting to me. And so I'm still trying my best to kind of get through that process, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yes. Cinda, we're here talking about basically what has happened past last Sunday, and it's we having like our guest is saying. We're having the same conversation again. And we're getting tired of having the same conversation every few months about the same thing.
So, my question is, what are you going to do about it? Because at some point, you have to... if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting.
Same
results. And until you make the decision to be intentional with your purpose, things are going to remain the same. You know, I am a true believer that until the pain of change will only occur when the pain of staying the same outweighs the pain it takes to change.
That's good.
Ooh. That's the only time you're going to change is when that pain is greater to stay the same than it is to change. And a lot of times, if we are just focused, like you said, if we're focused, but we have to also be intentional. And a lot of times we're not intentional. We're not intentional. When I'm at work, and it's funny that you say that. You know, we have to be this, and we have to be that, and we have to be that. And I am just that. I am this, that, and all of that. You know, so when I'm at work, because of the type of work that I do, I am very intentional in what my communication is, what I'm conveying to the directors and the vice presidents and the executive vice presidents. I am very intentional. My intent is to do this. So when I convey that, because it's what they're now listening to, now that you've heard it, now my actions not only must mirror what I've said, but my actions have to be probably about 10-20% more than that. Because if you tell Peter, hey, I'm going to give you A, Peter is he's really looking for A and B. So unless we're intentional and self-directed, a lot of times we're not. I find that, and I'm just like, come on, people.
And I realize with that, and adding to that, I also find out, don't get upset when that has to be your life at times, because of the fact that you have to use it to your advantage.
You do.
And I've realized that, unfortunately, I found myself having to be that chameleon for other people. Because sometimes not everybody can go into that area that you can go into. And sometimes you may have to be the conduit to actually create that conversation, to create that relationship. I've unfortunately had to be
Right.
you know, that dude, so that my brother or my sister can come through the door.
Yeah.
And be that. So unfortunately, you know, you have to still have, you know, use it to your, it's the best way to say it, use it to your advantage, because trust and believe they're using it to theirs.
Oh, absolutely.
Having you there.
Absolutely.
So
if you got an opinion, I know some of y'all want to say something, definitely give us a call, 404-355-8699, 404-355-8699. Out of towners, 1-866-923-2860, 1-866-923-2860. Oh, man, this is just so awesome. We're going to just keep this rolling, but we're going to take a quick break, music break, and get this conversation going, because when are we going to not have this type of conversation? So we'll be right back.
Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
Hi, this is Clifford English, your host and producer of The Gospel Train. Join me every Sunday right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio. You will be encouraged, you will be equipped, you will be educated, you will be entertained, all while hearing the best in gospel music. Don't miss your connection with The Gospel Train right here on Beat Break 87 FM radio. BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
We specialize in creating mobile apps for the entertainment industry. Go to bvmobileapps.com, click Get Started Now, create your account, choose your package, upload your content, and click Submit. BV Mobile Apps. Make it easy. Make it mobile.
Hey world, it's your man Precise, and I have great news. The Precise Music app is finally available for your iPhone, Android, and BlackBerry through Amazon and other app stores. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z. Go get it for all things Precise. Powered by BlackVibes.com. Stay in tune. That's Precise Music. Music is spelled with a Z.
He has performed on stage in front of thousands of poetry lovers. He has sold out shows and rocked the crowd with the best poets in the industry. Welcome to the stage, spoken word artist, Patrick Duncan, better known as the Preacher Man.
I am Benjamin P. Montgomery. I invented a boat propeller. I am the former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela!
Critically acclaimed spoken word artist, poet, writer, and the creator of Black on Purpose poetry TV series Wordplay. Patrick the Preacher Man Duncan is coming to a venue near you.
Why is the only time we can come together as a nation is when there are acts of insanity, chaos, or devastation.
Stay tuned to Beat Break 87 FM for updates on Patrick Duncan's upcoming arrival to your city. Visit cdbaby.com/CD/Patrick S. Duncan to order his latest album, What's Going On. Available online, including CD Baby and iTunes.
I want this high to have no affiliation to a political party. I want this high to be spiritual.
For more info, go to BeatBreakRadioFM.com.
Beat Break 87 FM wants to help you get the word out on your next community event.
Hey, do you have an upcoming public service announcement that you want listeners to know about? Well, email us the info to psabeatbreak87@gmail.com so we can help spread the word. That's psabeatbreak87@gmail.com. If your event flyer has the words nonprofit, community, support, charity, and just describes everything about helping our community, please share the special event right here on Atlanta's new underground station, Beat Break 87 FM, where music and talk radio lives.
When it comes to hip-hop,
Don't stop.
R&B, and talk radio, no one does it better than Beat Break 87 FM.
All right. We are back here on the D Hill Show featuring me, DJ Rollum, and Miss
B. Hey,
Miss
Atlanta.
B. Hey. And we have our special guest,
So Dr. D is in the place today.
Dr. D, Miss
Dr.
B.
Hey,
And DJ Roland.
Oh, all right. We have a caller on the line. Caller, give us your first name.
Oh, we lost our caller.
We lost the caller. Oh.
Okay, caller, if you can hear us, give us a call back.
Definitely.
Atlanta, the metropolitan Atlanta area, 404-355-8699. And those of you who are not in Atlanta, 1-866-923-2860. We would love to hear from you.
Yes, and we'd like to continue the conversation basically of what has happened recently. You know, the young man, what's his name?
Stephen
Clark.
Clark.
Yeah, Stephen Clark, a young man that was killed in Sacramento at his own home.
In his own home.
By Sacramento police. And I'm like, you know, as we were saying in the beginning of the show, no negativity is being talked about him because he wasn't a thug, he wasn't a criminal or anything. Oh, we got the caller back. All right, thank you, caller. Hey, caller, give us your first name, please.
All right, this is Roland. You hear me okay this time?
Yes.
Okay, I was on the line. I heard y'all. I can still hear y'all. I guess y'all just couldn't hear me.
Oh, okay.
All right, Roland, Dre, and Ms. B. The matter that you're describing is not a situation, and I'm talking about the one in Sacramento where he was shot 20 times, or any occasion like that where the pain has to be overwhelming to get somebody to really react, get somebody to take action and get things fixed. This is more issues of logic right here. We have citizens review boards in most of the major cities in this country that are not well funded, and they can be, that don't have the power of subpoena, and they can. Atlanta's Citizens Review Board itself just got the power of subpoena about 4 or 5 years ago. And we have a population of people that are not engaged enough in what is required for a police officer to operate in correct procedure. And these things that I'm saying are lacking are what allows police officers to shoot somebody 20 times when he was probably down on the first shot. And then the final thing is insurance companies that insure these police officers, who are funded by the taxpayer dollars, by the way, okay, need to lean a little bit harder on the police departments and say, you know, if you're doing things to drive the premiums up that are unlawful, we should have the power to remove these people from the police department. And things like that make officers like that think twice before they unload on somebody. I'm waiting for the report to come back so I can see, because I want to see it for myself of what happened in Sacramento. At the officer announced where police officers investigating a crime before they fired on this dude. I bet you they didn't.
Nah, he's still employed. He's on administrative leave getting paid.
Yeah. So it's not really an issue of getting to the point where it's emotional, that, you know, your pain is so high that it requires you to do something different, because you could keep doing the same thing over and over again, and at some point you will get a different reaction. Sometimes it depends on what the reactions are at the times that you do it, time and place. So things are getting better. The police departments around the country are improving their behaviors. It's not as fast as people would like it to be, that's true, but it is getting better. Those are the facts. And it's not true as much as it used to be that a black person has to be twice as good as a white person in order to move out in front. It hasn't been like that since maybe the 70s.
I disagree.
Well, you know, all proof has evidence, but all evidence does not equate to proof. It is a factually proven thing that I just said, because if you take this into consideration, that right now, in this year, there's only 27% of the black population that lives on or below the poverty line. That means the rest of the black population, and we're talking about 40-plus million people, are either middle class or higher.
Of that which has been reported. So you have to take into account the data that has not been reported, because again, these numbers are only based on who has applied for what. Even a prime example, if you take the U.S. Census, there are way more people than what is given at the end of the U.S. Census count. So based on the data that has been given and or provided, then I would say I would agree with you. But to say that overall this is fact, it's only based on what has been given. We have yet to see the unseen.
What's been given is that there's between 42, and I'm saying because I don't know the exact number. I know it's now more than 46 million. I know it's no less than 42 million. There's somewhere between 42 and 46 million black folks in this country, and 73% are living middle class or better, which is way above the poverty line, which tells you right there that they are not having to do twice as much to get even or ahead with the population of white people in this country. What is happening, though, is that perception is moving slow. Negative perception of us is moving slowly in the direction that it shouldn't be, slower than it is that we're getting up in the ranks economically. Yeah, there are a lot of black folks getting shot by the police still, but there aren't as many as they used to be getting shot. There shouldn't be any getting shot, but it's, there's progress.
Again, that of which I agree with you to some degree, but then you also have to factor in what's not reported.
You can't factor in what's not reported because you don't know that it doesn't. You don't know that it exists.
Absolutely, we does. Absolutely.
Okay.
You said it yourself. No more than 46 million, no less than 42 million. Even the difference in that is 4 million.
Well, that's coming from me because I'm not looking at it right now. I just didn't remember whether it was 46 or 42.
Okay,
that's coming from me. But it's clear.
But it's still. You have people that are not documented. Period. They're not on paper. They can't be counted for anything.
And you also have to base it off because I'm assuming you're basing it off of the 2016 U.S. Census Bureau when they said about 46 million. 46.7 million, but that also goes based on people who identify as black.
Exactly.
Because there may not be individuals who even identify as black or multiracial, so it's a different dynamic, and that's coming from a sociological perspective. As a sociologist, that's what we do. We study that. And not everybody classifies as black.
Right.
And so you have to take under account, there's always that plus or minus. You have to take under account, what the unknown. And so when you talk about, because as we were saying earlier on the radio, I'm sure there have been, you're not going to tell me that, because there's been shootings here in Atlanta that we hear about, but it's not nationally talked about. So we can't necessarily say that we can't include them because we don't hear about them in the news. It still happened just because it didn't get posted. Right. So you still have to take into consideration that, it is happening. So that's great that we want to talk about that, but you have to be you have to still be mindful. We still have people, who are not being, they're not documented. So until we have our next census coming up, I think within the next 4 years, 2 years. 2020, I think.
Yeah, right. 2020.
Yeah. So we'll have a decent idea, but again, that still doesn't talk about who we have in our community. So yeah, but no.
Gotcha. Thank you, caller, for calling in for that.
Thank you, caller.
Yeah. My thing is this, kind of not really piggybacking. It's like the main thing is what we're saying. When does it stop? When can we not have these same conversations that we have every few months about the same thing we discuss, and what can we do to help make a change? I guess just make a pure change, and not only make a change, can it stick?
When complacency with stagnation is out the window. And when does that? You have this situation. Okay, I said this, I started it. We're all, I think, overly zealous when we start something, but then when we get into doing what we're doing, we become complacent because maybe someone has moved at the tone of our bark in the beginning. And the fact that they moved just a little bit, a little movement is better than no movement, and a lot of us are complacent with just that when it takes more than that. You have to inspect the process. You have to inspect what you expect. I expect, like with my son, I expect greatness, so I inspect the process, meaning I talk to teachers, I email teachers, I pop up at his school, I look at in his book bag, I'm looking at his clothes, how he's dressed when he walks out the door. If he doesn't have belt loops, if he have loops on his pants, you have to have a belt. Mommy, I'm going to be late for school. Okay, and you knew that when you put those pants on.
Right.
So this is what I expect. So we have to inspect the process. And inspecting the process to get what we expect takes work. A lot of us are not going to work.
Wow. All right, we have another caller on the line. Caller, give us your first name, please.
JT.
Hey, JT.
Hey, JT.
How are you doing? I just tuned in. What's the name of your broadcast?
This is the D Hill Show.
Oh, okay. Okay, very good. You were talking about research and reports on figures of incidents of shootings, etc., income. And since all of that's apparently based on the census, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just one group of, or one entity doing the research. I think one of the things when it comes to the African American community, we fail in terms of a group as professional psychologists, researchers, of doing our own research and getting our own data based on our direct on-hands research, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just have one group researching anything, just like with the pharmaceutical industry or the food industry, people can come back and tell you anything.
True.
That doesn't mean it's correct.
True.
That doesn't mean it's correct. That's basically their findings, what they believe is correct, what they believe is accurate within a certain level of deviation. Is that what it is? It may deviate a plus or minus either way as far as accuracy. So when we're looking at things like that, we can't look at it as gospel anyway, even just the total number of people in the United States. And I think that's what the young lady was trying to point out earlier. So just because the United States of America says they have X number amount of people, that doesn't mean it's totally accurate on anything, whether it's total or a segment or whatever. So I think one of the things that's missing, as the young lady was pointing out, you do your own research on your child before he leaves, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we as a group of people, African Americans, we do very little that I've seen, very little research with on our own culture and our own community. So I think I don't know how that can be corrected or if it's changing. I could be wrong, but I'm 66, so that's what I've seen.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we hear exactly what you're saying. We thank you for calling in, JT.
Thank you.
Thank you, JT. Okay.
All right. So, kind of piggybacking a little bit what he's saying. Okay. Now, out of the four of us here, all have a child and as a male and whatnot. We're teaching him how to become a great man, and we have our own individual ways of doing it. But the thing about it is, we still come together as one on how to be respectful, how to acknowledge themselves and being the best they possibly can be at whatever they decide to do.
Right.
And I give us a huge applause on that. But there's some folks that we all know they're not doing what they need to do with their own kids. And we try. I mean, at least I do, and I assume y'all do too.
A lot of folks.
Say it again.
A lot of folks.
I will go say it.
I tell them how to act and whatnot, and give them a quick pointer so hopefully they can use it for future knowledge.
Right.
Like I was telling at the event with Felicia Stovall, I was telling this guy he was unscrewing one of my speakers and stuff. And I told him something universal. I said, this is how you always deal with like a flat tire. So if you was some female and you have a flat tire, this is how you do it, universal. Left to loose, right to tighten. And I told his mother that. And so you can always know how to help out. That's something I would never see, more likely never see that young man again, but I want to give him something for him to remember. Because he's going to need it.
At some point,
yeah. Period. So that's what I try to do. When I'm out and about doing whatever I do, even when I do Uber and Lyft, and I tell folks that they're young how to be the best and not get distracted by all these distractions.
Right.
Because there's so much out there, and you got to stay focused. It's hard. It's like a job by itself, being focused and sticking to it. Because you can always get pulled to the side and whatever you see or hear, even if your own specific actions, it's going to pull you away. You have to stay focused.
But you know what? I don't think the kids can stay focused or the children can stay focused if the parents are not focused.
Yeah.
You know, that's my thing. One of our term papers in school, we had to give an oral presentation on the final. And I always lean towards controversy because it makes you think. And the title of this paper was, "If you can't raise them, you don't need them."
Ooh.
And people were so upset with me, and I still stand on that. If you can't raise little Timmy, you don't need little Timmy. You know, little Timmy at the age of 3, I see his underwear. Why? I don't need to see his underwear. But mama is or dad is in, you know, in a bar somewhere, $2 Tuesdays, but you yet to make a PTSA meeting on a Thursday. Come on, you can't do that. You cannot do that. The only time Miss Henley, the school teacher or the principal, knows who you are is when you're coming to get him because he's been suspended or when he has failed. Now you want to come up and show your face. No, don't do that. So we can't really expect from our children what they're not being taught.
Yes.
Because we're role models for our own children. You know, I have a 26 and a 27-year-old. When they were younger, they went to class with me, and my professors knew that. The only way I can stay in school, I don't have a babysitter. I am a single mother, but I made no excuses. I did not want anyone to have sympathy for me because it was a decision that I made to lay down and have them, and I knew the cost that it took to be the boss. And in order for me to be the boss, these are the steps that I had to take. You know, I'm on the MARTA bus. I'm lugging them around. And my professors, they saw that. They saw that determination, and they allowed it, even though in the handbook, the school handbook, children under a certain age, you can't sit here and you can't sit there. I be doggone. I need a higher education, and I am a single mother.
That's right.
How are you going to make that possible? How are you going to help me make that possible?
That's right.
And I sat in the back of the classroom. You know, my sons were 4th and 5th grade reading college books because I'm giving you a book here, read it until class is over. You're eating Cheerios as a snack, and you're reading they had no clue what they were reading. And now they're able to engage in certain conversations today, and their peers, even when they were in high school, would look at them like, where you going?
Yeah.
Where you going? Because it is what it is.
Yep.
But we have to inspect what we expect, and we don't do that.
Yeah. And people can't keep getting mad because of the fact that they see, you know, these kids acting out and everything else. I'm a firm believer, as you were just saying. Kids are ultimately the mirror of what you are. And the issue is, for instance, if you see your kids being, you know, sometimes when you don't think, well, that's not how I act, but see, you're lazy in who you're trying to be.
Oh my
so
goodness.
if you see your kids being lazy, they're just probably mirroring your personality. They may not necessarily be mirroring who you are. They might be mirroring your personality. So everything that your child is probably being right now is just everything that you're not being. So, you know, and you're getting mad about certain things your kids are doing. They're only just mirroring who you are.
Yes.
And again, I've been in education. All my career is in education. So I've seen it firsthand and all day. And people want to say, well, you know, no, your child is exactly who, I didn't raise them to be that way. You may not have been raised them to be that way. All they're doing is just seeing what they see.
Yeah.
That's all they're doing.
Yeah.
But can we say, no, you didn't raise them that way, but yes you did. Yeah. You know,
because you're allowed to go on.
Even our subordinates, you know, even in the workplace. So children definitely, they tend to emulate what they spectate. So if it's what I see is what I'm going to do, and you can't tell me that it's not okay to curse Timmy out, but he hears you cursing out baby dad, you know. So we emulate what we spectate.
Right. Yeah, and you got to step it up to the plate. And the thing about it, y'all gave out a lot of truth. So much truth that it's like, can people handle the truth about themselves?
No.
That's the problem. They can't handle it. They can't handle it.
No.
So they like, am I really like that? Hey, look in the mirror.
And you know what? You know the sad part about that is we talk about handling the truth. It's almost to the point sometimes people think you have to be a certain way or have to be a certain someone in order to give truth. And I've realized that, when you were talking about giving the advice to the young man, even as a young man myself, God gives us wisdom and gives us things to give to people. And when I'm telling you something, you can't just negate the fact that just because I'm 30, in my 30s, I can't say what I know. If it's truth, I don't need to be on crack to tell you to stop doing crack.
Right.
I saw what crack did to them.
Right.
But you're hating.
You saying it? Because I'm hating?
But you're hating.
Oh, well.
They like to describe the truth as
hating.
hate.
Yeah. Listen.
Don't be a hater, Rick.
I don't need this person. If somebody on crack tells me to don't do this, I don't need to say, well, you can't tell me. No, I see what it's doing to you. You know what? I'm going to take that into consideration. I'm going to take that straight. So again, truth is truth, no matter who's giving it.
Right.
I don't have to be on on TV and on radio to give truth. If I say this, and this, if it sounds like sound doctrine, guess what? I might need to take that into consideration. And again, it goes back again to what we were saying earlier. But also, listen to these babies too. Because of the fact that some of these young people, they are speaking truth and speaking truth to power. So you have to give them a voice. Now, some of them, and that's maybe why some of them acting out too, is because they're trying to tell you something and you're not listening.
See, and Ms. B, you can contest to this. When we were younger, we weren't allowed to talk. I don't know about your household, but at least in my household, people that know me, know that we could not talk. We had to just listen, do what they say.
Oh, yeah.
And that's it. But see, that was what I saw.
It.
But the thing about it is they had a level. They have an establishment. They're educated. They're career oriented. So I'm like, oh, okay. So they must be right because of how it is established. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'll be quiet. But real quick, I had to say this real quick before we get to the caller. But now with my son, I'm listening. That's the key thing. Mm-hmm. Hey, caller, go ahead. Give us your first name, please. Caller.
I'm sorry. My name is Mashana.
Okay.
Hey, Mashana.
I know this caller.
Hi.
Hey.
This is my sister.
Oh, your sister.
Yes. I didn't
Dr. D's sister. All right.
I didn't know if I should put that out there or not. I wasn't for sure. I'm just a caller though.
All right.
What's going on, Shauna?
So just my opinion about the situation. I do feel like the young generation, we live in a world where we follow the trend, meaning sing.
Hello?
And stuff like that.
Can you say it one more time real quick?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying that I believe that we live in a world where the youth, we follow the trend, meaning, singers, rappers, actors, stuff like that. And I feel that we have no leaders. Dr. Martin Luther King, like everyone is gone. And I feel like we have no leaders to help. A lot of Black families are, in broken homes. They don't have any father figures or anybody to teach the young boys to stay out of the streets or to me, I just feel like we have no type of community where we're coming together, putting the boys in football or something like that. I just think we lack in a lot of leaders. And as far as us living in a trend, as I was saying, that is, if we had our powerful singers and rappers, T.I. and Jay-Z and Beyonce come together to try to help stop things like this, I think they're so powerful, they can make a big impact on that. Just like, the concert, on the Run tour. It's a lot of people that have bought those tickets to see Jay-Z and Beyonce. Just like the Black Panther movie, we all came together for a movie. But when are we all going to come together as one? When are we going to get tired of our children or a kid dying? I think people really start caring once it hit home, when it's their child or when it's their cousin. But I feel like we're all as one. We're all together. We should all care about it because it's been going on for so long.
All right. Thank you for calling in, because our show's about to end real soon. But I have to end it like this. Basically, like I tell my son, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure you take care of yourself. I do believe in taking care of yourself first, then take care of others. So, Ms. B.
Mashana, I just want to, I heard what you said. I really did. But I have a question I want to ask you. You said if Jay-Z and Beyonce and T.I. come together, my question to you is, why don't you start it? Instead of waiting on someone else to start it and you follow, this is the most opportune time for you to step out and say, hey, I am tired of it, rather than you asking, when are we going to get tired of it? Because you have to be the change that you want to see. And knowing that it's going to take work, you have to be intentional with your purpose. Do you even know what your purpose is? I'm not saying you don't, but that is a question in general. Do you know what your purpose is? Once you identify what your purpose is, then I can rest assured you can be as intentional as you want to be, regardless of who told you step on. But Mashana, be the change that you want to see. Don't wait on Beyonce. Don't wait on Jay-Z, because a lot of parents bought those $1,400 tickets to see 2 hours of singing that they can see on YouTube or here on the radio, but not one invested in a CD, not one of those dollars.
Life insurance.
Invested in, $529 for your children. So,
Dr. D, what you got to tell us one last time?
One last thing. First of all, I'm going to say, Shauna, you actually made me proud. Made me think you actually listen to sometimes.
She does.
But I would just simply say, we have to get to a place when we really do get sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And when you get sick and tired, I hate to say that's when you may have to bump your head 12 more times. But when you get sick and tired of getting sick and tired, trust me, you don't want to go back to that place again.
Because at that point, the pain to stay the same outweighs the pain it takes to change. That's right. And you won't have a choice at that point.
All right. Thank you all for tuning into the D Hill Show, featuring me, DJ Roland, Ms. B, and Dr. D up in here. And we always live here on the D Hill Show on Saturdays, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We out.
Good night.
Holla.
Peace.
WBS 87 FM Atlanta, WAEN FM Atlanta, and WBHA Beat Break 87 FM, a Reach One communication station.